Hello, hi, how are you doing? This is AD from Silverlight Studio, and today we are going to be doing something different. And by different, I mean we are going to be coding in Java. As to why am I doing this? Well, I'm a student, and what am I studying currently? Well, I'm learning how to code or program in Java. And I like making videos, so I thought, why not combine these both and make a series of videos on Java, starting from the very basic and moving on to more complex topics later on. In this video, which is again covering the very basics of Java, I will go over the things that you actually need to start coding, how to get them, and at the end of it, we will write a very simple program known as Hello World, which basically prints Hello World as output. And that's it. What you see in front of you is my desktop. I'm using Windows, and I think most of you are also using Windows. And this is how my desktop looks like. So we'll start from here and we'll begin with the things that you need. So let's begin. So the first thing I want you to do is to head over to your search bar here at the very bottom and type in CMD. Press enter and this brings up this black window. This is known as command prompt or command line interface or CMD for short. And this is where we will run or compile our Java programs. We write our Java programs somewhere else, but this is the place we come to actually run them. And here we will see if our Java programs are correct or if they have errors and as to what output they give and if our Java program requires any input from us, that will also be given here. So just keep this open for now. We'll come back to it later. I'll briefly go over it when we come back to it. How does this work? But for now, you just need to remember this is the place we come to run our Java code. So we have the place to run a Java code. Now we need a place to write it. You can use any software, and by software I mean any software basically where you can write something to write Java code. There is no rule with Java that you have to use any software. For example, you can just go ahead and open the basic notepad, which is this here. And this brings up your basic notepad. What you see is actually a Java program that I wrote. And you can see that it's not quite readable. Everything is in black. And to basically understand it, you have to read each line and each word. And by just looking at it, you cannot make out anything. If you look at it from a distance, it's just black text. And it's not user friendly, I would say. In terms of coding, I'm sure if you just want to write something, Notepad is fine. And even for Java code, it's fine. If you want to use Notepad, you can use it. But I would strongly suggest you that you use some other software. I use Notepad++. And here's a Java program that I opened, or let's say wrote in Notepad++. And just by looking at it, you can make out the differences. Here, there are colors. And on the right side, in the normal Notepad, there are no colors. These colors, they do mean something. Like, for example, these green lines or this green text represents comments, which are not actually a part of the code. And by just looking at this even from a distance, I can say, okay, this green part, this is a comment, which I cannot do at all in the normal Notepad. So I would strongly suggest that you use some other software other than simple Notepad to start writing Java code, because these other softwares, well, Notepad++ is quite simple. But there are many other softwares, and some of those softwares have a lot of features, and the sooner you start using them, the sooner you will get used to them or familiar with them. So I'll just go ahead and close Notepad because I'll be using Notepad++ to write my Java code. So let me just go ahead and make this big. And as you can see, this is some old Java program that I wrote, and um, it's got colors. And by just looking at the colors, I can tell what is what. Go ahead and close that. And as I said, in this video, we'll be writing a very simple Java program. And another thing that I forgot to mention is that I did not make any script for this video. Whatever you're seeing is live. And by live, I mean I am doing this in one take because I think that's the best for these kind of videos. So here's my Notepad++. Let's keep that open as well. Let's make it small. So on the right, we have our Notepad++ again, the place which we use to write our Java code. And on the left, or in the background, we have the CMD, command line, command prompt, whatever. And that's the place which will run our Java code. So we got Notepad, we got command prompt, a place to write, a place to run. Now we need to actually get Java. So go ahead and open your browser. And before we do that, I will just show you how to get Notepad++. Again, you don't have to use it, but it's free, it's simple. And if you do use it instead of Notepad, that would be much better in the long term. You can use any software again, but this is the one that I'm using currently. So you go to Notepad++ and just go to the one that's the latest. Click on it, and you can install Notepad. So just go and click on it. I'll click on the installer because that will give me a file which I can run, and I really don't have to do anything more. You can see it's downloaded, and now let's just open this. Go ahead, click yes. Open twice, we don't want that. So select the language, and basically you can see it's very, very, very small, only like 13 megabytes. And just go ahead and install it. I have already installed it, so I'm not going to go through it again. But just go ahead and install it if you want. So that was Notepad. Now let's actually move on to the main part, which is Java. So go ahead and write Java download in your search bar, and that should bring up the Java website. It's taking some time to load. I don't know. It's okay. Let's go ahead and reject that. And here you can see the different options that you have. You have Linux, you have Mac, Solaris, and you have Windows. So go ahead and download the Windows offline version, 64-bit. just click on it once and it should start downloading. There you go. Java comes in two types. There is JDK and there is JRE. I will tell you what difference that they have, and the difference that they actually have is quite important to coding in Java. So you can see I've just clicked on it and it downloaded the JRE or the Java file, and I can just go ahead and click on it, and you can see it brings up this prompt. Go ahead, click yes, and this brings you to the installer. Again, I have Java. I'm not gonna install it again, but this is how you get Java for your computer. So I'm gonna close it, and let's move on to the next part. Now we've got Java. We also need Java C. What is Java C? Well, Java is like the engine of your program. Let's say your program is a car, and Java is the engine that runs it. But every car also needs a steering wheel or a controlling system in order to steer the power from the engine. I hope that makes sense. Um, but Java C is the Java compiler. Um, Everything you write in Java needs to be compiled, and that's what Java C does. So go ahead and we'll type Java C, download, and it brings us to, you can see, another website. And you can see there's some more packages here based on the operating system that you have. We are using Windows, so we will switch to Windows. At the top, you can see the different versions of Java. I believe 24 is the latest. And to get Java compiler, you need to download this JDK 24. And if you remember, we downloaded Java already. That was Java. That was normal Java. We also need Java C, which is this thing again. And what we downloaded was JRE, which is Java. Again, we need Java C. That's why we are downloading this. So here's the installer, which you can just run by clicking on it. And to download it, you just go ahead and click on it. As you can see, it's downloading. Again, the same thing. You're going to download it and then run it, and that should install the Java compiler on your computer. I will show you how you can check if it's installed. Let's wait for the download to complete before we move on to that. There we go. Go ahead and click on it. And it should bring up another installer. You can see this installer is a bit different from the one that we had earlier. And this one is gonna install the Java compiler. Again, Java compiler is the thing that compiles a Java program, and Java is Java, the software that we know. And again, you need Java C. You just don't need Java. You need both of them. So you can select where you want to install Java. Again, Java C, sorry. And I've already done it. I already have Java C, so I'm not going to do it again. So I'm going to go ahead and click cancel, but that's how you install. The differences between Java and Java C, there's really this out of the scope of this video, but for now you can understand what we downloaded earlier was basic Java software, and what this installs is the Java compiler, the thing that we need to compile our Java programs. Every Java program needs to be compiled before it can be run, and this thing installs the compiler. Okay, so as I said, I've already have Java C, so I'm going to go ahead and close this. So now, assuming you have run the installers, you should have Java installed. And now we can actually start working with these two things that we have in front of us. And this is where most of the work will be done in this video. So now that we have Java installed, we can finally start working with our command line interface. I'm just gonna write cdc, not cdcd, but cdc. And that brings me to my C drive of my computer. CD is what you use to change folders or directories. So if I want to change to the C drive, I write CD followed by C. These two symbols, and press enter, and that brings me to the C drive. Okay, so we have navigated to the C drive, and now we can actually begin writing our program. I'm gonna just move it in the middle. So there you can see it. Nice. And okay, I think that should be enough. The program is gonna be really, really small. So before we actually write something, we need to save our file somewhere. And I'm gonna click Save As. And I'm gonna navigate to the C drive. I'm gonna just name it Hello. And I'm gonna change the type to Java source file. Again, to get this dialog box, if you're using Notepad++, it can be that with other software it looks different, but with Notepad++ you get this pop-up when you want to save a file. So I will name my file hello, and I will save it as a Java source file because it contains the Java code, or it is the source of the program. And the name would be hello. And it's important that you remember this name because it will come in handy later. So let's go ahead and save this file. Okay. Somehow I don't have permission to save mine in my own folder, so I will just go ahead and save it in another folder. Go ahead and save it. You can see the name has been changed to hello.java. So now that we have saved our file, we can finally write something. The first thing we're going to write is public class hello. As you can see, this hello matches exactly with the name of our file, and it needs to match exactly with the name of the file, because everything in Java, well, not everything, but for now, everything in Java starts with a class. And the class name has to be the same as the name of your file. Otherwise, you will get errors saying the Java could not find the file you were looking for. So just go ahead and write public class hello. Hello is the name of my file. If you save your file with some other name, then just change the class name. The class name is the thing that you see in black. But it's public, Public means that it is publicly available. A way to understand it would be that it's publicly available. Anybody can see it, anybody can run it. There are other forms like private, protected, but for now, we'll just use public. Class, everything in Java is a class. Everything begins with a class, and after class comes the name of the class. In our case, the name of the class depends on the name of the file, which is, in this case, hello. So we write public so that it's accessible from anywhere. Then we write class to signify that it is a public class. And then we write the name of the file without Java, without .java. So we write public class hello. And then we go ahead and open this class. Not like that, like this. This bracket here, this signifies the beginning of our class, of our class, of our class. It can also be used to signify the start of a method, start of a for loop, but for now, just remember that every class that you write has to start with a opening bracket. Here begins the code for this class, and whatever comes after this opening bracket belongs to the public class hello, and whatever you write here will be saved in a file named hello.class. When we compile it here, we'll come shortly to it, but just remember that after you write public class hello, don't forget to actually open that class bracket. So now that we wrote the public class hello, we can go ahead and write system dot out dot println. What is this? This made a small mistake. System, not system. So system dot out dot println. If you want to print something out when you run your Java program, then you use this command, system dot out dot println. And what you want to actually print out, you write inside these brackets again. Notice these brackets are different from these brackets. These curly brackets are used to start a class, a method, a loop, and these normal round brackets are used to for parameters. For the parameters are things such as well, for now, parameters are things that you put inside these round brackets. So we saved our file as hello.java. We started the file as we should with a class, the class name being the same as the name of our file. And since we opened it, here begins the actual code, which belongs to this class hello. So we go ahead again, we go ahead and we write public class hello, we open it, and we want to print hello world. So we just go ahead and write hello world inside double commas. There you can see we wrote hello world. And what this will do is that when we run this program here, it will print hello world out, which is the function of this line here, system.out.println, then these brackets, and then because we want to print a sentence, let's say, we just put these double commas. Here begins our sentence, here ends our sentence, so we just close it with these double commas again, then we close our brackets, and then we put a semicolon at the end. Almost everything except class and some other things, a few other things I would say, don't have a semicolon at the end. But almost every line that you write in Java has a semicolon at the end, which tells the compiler that, hey, this line ends here. If you keep writing, then it will give you an error, basically telling you that it expected a semicolon at the end, where it should be to signify the end of the line. So we wrote that. Now we have our public class, we have our opening brackets, we have our print statement. Now we need to actually make a main method. What's a main method? Well, let's write it first. This is the code for our main method. Again, like class, we will open it with opening curly bracket. You can see here it says main, which signifies that this is the main method. A class can have multiple methods. For example, I can write here public how to shower. This would also be a method which belongs to this class hello. But every program at least needs one main method to be able to run. You can add as many methods as you want, but you need at least one main method to be able to run that program. So we're just going to delete public how to Java because we don't need it. But just so that you understand, we can add as many methods as we want, and that main method signifies the main part. Let's say the main part of our program. Just space and put it nice in line. So public class hello, start of our class, public static void main, string arguments. This word means arguments, then these brackets. This line means, this line signifies the main method. I would recommend that you just copy it or memorize it for now. Later, we will go into detail. In later videos, we will go into detail what these things here mean, static and void. But for now, you know what public is. Public means this method and this class can be accessed from, let's say, anywhere. It's not protected, and neither it is private. So now we open our class, and we now open our main method. Every class needs, well, not every class, but in our case, this class needs a main method, and every Java program which just consists of one file, like in our case, we just have one file, needs at least one main method. We can add as many methods as we want, but we need at least one main method, otherwise we will get an error. So we have opened our class and we have opened our main method. Now we need to close them. So we go ahead and put the closing curly brackets and we save our file. So here's the code for our Hello World program. Very, very simple once again. It's very basic, using what I would say just the bare basics of Java, but everybody needs to start somewhere. So now that we have saved it, we can now run it with our compiler. So we have our public class hello again. I'm gonna go over it again, so that you just understand. Public class hello means we have a class named hello. Everything in Java starts with a class, and the name of the class is the same as the name of our file without the .java extension. Second line, we open that class. This signifies the opening of the class. You can also write it like this. It's completely fine, but I personally prefer to keep things, to put the brackets after the method or the class. That brings us to line number 3, which is our main method, which we wrote as public static void main string arguments. And these brackets, notice that these are different from what we have here and what we have here. And we opened our main method again with opening brackets, and here inside the main method we wrote our code, because that is the main code of our program. Our program is very simple, it just prints hello world, so we just wrote it in main method. Then in line number 6 we closed it using this closing curly bracket, and in line number 7 we closed our class, and then we saved it. Now let's move on to our compiler. Now our compiler, what it does is it uses Java, and it uses Java C being the Java compiler, compile this, or in other words, translate it to a class file. What happens when you run this Java program is that it will create a class known as hello.class, and basically what you wrote will be translated into machine code, and that machine code can be run. So what you write here inside hello.java will be translated into a file known as hello.class, and you run that class to run your program. You will see what I mean when we run this program. So we have our code. I'll keep it here, and so they can see it. But, not like that, so you can see it. And I'll just make this a bit smaller. Let me just this. We don't just do that big. So, as you might remember that we saved our file inside the C drive, just inside the C drive. So we are here inside the C drive, and no, we didn't save it inside the C file. Well, let's check. How do we check that? Well, we can go ahead and open Explorer, how we do normally, but I'm going to show you another way with our command prompt or with our CMD interface. We're going to go ahead and write dir. And what it does is it shows you all the files and folders which are present inside the current directory. The current directory is where we are right now. This tells you that we are in the C drive. And if we write dir, then it brings up everything that is inside C drive. Now I think we saved it inside this folder right here. So we go cd and write the name of the folder. So we write cd space SOSE_25, which is the name of this folder. And we go ahead and press enter. Notice that this has here changed. This now means we are inside the C drive, inside this folder. We're inside C drive, and then we are inside this folder. If we do dir again, it lists all the files and folders which are inside this folder. So you can just use dir to show you what you have inside the current folder. The current folder is again where we are here, on the left side. This before this symbol tells you where you are. This is where we are. Let's say we want to go back. We want to go back to to the C drive. We want to go back to here. So you just write cd followed by ... and it brings us a step back, or a directory back. Now we are again in C, and if we do dir again, you can see this is the same as what we have here. So we are back in the C drive. cd ... brings you a step back. But we want to be in this folder. So we do cd, we write the name of the folder, and we'll go press enter. You can see it brings us to the folder again. We'll press dir again to confirm that our file is here. And indeed it is. Hello.java is the file that we just made here. So now that we have written our program and we have found our program inside the CMD, or the command line interface, we need to actually compile the program. And how do we compile it? Remember, we installed javac. Well, before we actually compile it, let's check if Java is actually installed. To check if Java is actually installed, you just go ahead and write java minus version. And here it says Java version 24. That means Java version 24 is installed. But we don't only need Java, we also need Javac, the compiler, to compile this into machine code. So we write javac minus version. Here you can see it says javac 24, which means we have the Java compiler version 24. That means we have both Java and javac. If you don't see this, then there's something wrong with your installation. If you have installed it correctly, then it should say these things when you write java minus version to check which version of Java you've installed, and when you write javac minus version to check the version of the Java compiler that you've installed. So we have the javac version 24, and we have the Java version 24 as well. So we have both Java and javac. Now we just need to compile this, and we compile it by writing javac again, calling the Java compiler and calling it to compile our file, which is in our case hello.java. This is how you write it. You write javac followed by the name of the file, and you press enter. You noticed it basically did nothing, because that's a good thing, because our program has no errors. If we had made any errors, then they would come here when we try to actually compile. I'll show you what I mean. Let's go ahead and remove this semicolon, and let's save this file, and let's try compiling again. You can see it tells me that it expects an error. It expects not an error, but a semicolon at the end of our print statement. So that's an error, because every statement, except few, should end with a semicolon at the end. And we write it again as we wrote it originally, and we run the compiler again. you can see it compiled without any errors. If there are any errors, it will tell you during compilation. That's what I mean, that you need compile every Java program, because you can write what you want, but when you compile them, it tells you if what you actually wrote makes any sense, or if it is full of errors, or if there are any other problems with it. So we have been successful. Our program compiled without any errors. That means we have created a class named hello, and we can check it by calling the dir, by writing dir again. Dir again prints what we have in the current folder. So we are inside the C drive, inside this folder, and we have these folders inside this thing. And you see, yeah, we have now hello.class, which comes from hello.java. We compiled hello.java, and it compiled without any errors, so it gave us hello.class. Now, to actually run our program, we go and we call Java, followed by the name of the class, which is in our case hello. So we write hello, and it prints hello world out just like we wanted. And that's it. That's how you print hello world inside Java. That was pretty simple, but there are things to remember here, like the name of the class should be the same name as the file. That you should always have a main method, and don't forget to close your print statement with a semicolon. And if you've done everything all right, then it should print what you wrote inside the print statement. So now that we're finished, we're just gonna hit exit, and exit does what it says. It exits the command line interface. So that was our program. I hope you found the video interesting, or at least learned something from it. And if you did, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Each one of those motivates me a lot to make such videos. And if you guys do like this video, then you will see the next part shortly, where we will go over actual coding. And by actual coding, I mean doing something, let's say, a bit more complex than just printing something. This is very basic. In the next part, we will go over how to make actual programs which do more. Let's say which do more. Anyways, this was AD from Civil Light Studio. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Till next time.